Hi, I'm Jennifer McGuire from Hero Arts, and I wanted to show you how to create these personalized cards. So part of it is done with stamping, but the personalized part here where it says from the desk of Miss Noran is done in Word. So I'm going to show you how to do that directly in Word. It's very easy, I promise. It's nothing difficult. First, you start by opening a Word document. This is a new document. It's just a regular old 8.5 by 11, so I did nothing to change it. Just opened as is. Now I'm going to go under Insert and do Text Box. So this will create like a box where you can write some text, and it will serve as the front of our note card. Now I'm going to right click on the edge of the text box, and this menu shows up and you click Format Text Box. We're just going to make it plain, which means no fill color, so I'm going to change this to no fill, and no outline color, so I'm going to change this to no line. Then I'm going to go change the size, and I'm going to change it to be the size of a Hero Arts note card, which is 5.5 tall by 4.25 wide. So now when we add anything into this text box, we can be sure that it fits right onto the front of our note card. Now by clicking on the edge of this, I'm going to just drag it over all the way right smack dab into the top corner of this Word document. So basically, when I put my note card into the printer horizontally, open up, it will print right onto this area here, which is the front of the note card. So now you can add any text in here that you would like. Just play around with whatever you want. I just wanted to use a simple typewriter font. So I'm going to change this to American Typewriter, which is one of my favorite fonts, and I'm going to center it. And then I'll also make the font a little bit bigger. Now again, when you put the note card into your printer, you want to open it up and put it in horizontally, and when it prints, if you put your text box in the top right corner, it'll print right onto the front of the note card. So now I'm pressing return a few times so that the text prints towards the bottom of the card, so I have room for an embellishment above it. Very simple. Now I usually save this format too so that I can easily go back and make more. Now we'll move on to the stamping part of this card. We'll go back to the note card in a moment. I have this Hero Arts apple stamp. I just love this stamp, and the Hero Arts Punch chalk ink, which is a great vibrant red chalk ink. Now I'm carefully inking up just the apple of this stamp. I'm going to stamp it onto white paper. Now it looks kind of splotchy and uneven at first, but it will smooth out to look like this other apple. Now I'm going to go back in and draw in the stem and the leaf. Now I could have just used regular markers to color on the rubber of the stamp and then stamped it onto the white paper. But I wanted a really crisp image, so I'm just hand drawing in the stem and the leaf just to make it simpler. And of course I'm using my Copic, so I'm just adding a little bit of shading just to give it a little extra pop. This is the Just a Note set from Hero Arts. It's one of our polyclear sets. And there's this little piece of paper on here. Thought I'd put that on the front of the card too. I'm just using a Fisker stamp press. It's just like an acrylic mount, but it has these little foam feet, which just aid in getting a good stamped image, and I like to use this tool. So I'm just going to stamp this onto white paper, and then I'll pop right back up, and then we'll cut this out. Now I thought it'd be fun to make this little piece of paper look more realistic by punching the three ring holes in the side. So I'm just using a small hole punch and punching directly onto the paper. And you can see now it looks like a real piece of tiny little paper. And of course I'm going to add my apple with a foam dot because that seems to be what I always do. Just add it right onto there. And I thought it'd be fun to again make this look teacher-like by adding a little A+ drawn with a red marker. Now I'm going to set that embellishment aside and show you how to create these scored lines around the edge of the card to kind of give it a finished look. I thought this card seemed a little bit plain as is, and I didn't want to do any background because I didn't want to stamp over my personalized greeting. So I'm going to add some scoring lines. This is a Martha Stewart scoring tool. It's got all these little ledges that you can crease right into, and it comes with a bone folder to do the creasing, but I wanted to use my stylus here, so it was a nice rounded bump along the edge. And I'm just going along and scoring 1/4 of an inch in on each side. So I just look at where my edge of my paper is, and I go in 1/4 of an inch, and I just go back and forth to get a nice rounded crease that will show up on the other side of the note card. So now that I have all 4 sides, you can see that it gives this great little ridged frame around the card. And I thought it'd be fun to actually add a little more to that. So I'm going to go in and add another scored line on each side, about 1/8 of an inch in from that. So using the scoring tool, that's very easy. It's just one line over on the scoring tool. And I'm just going to go around and add that to all 4 sides. So here you can see that fun little bump or frame that's added to the edges of the cards. There's lots of ways to do this. This is just a simple way. And you don't need a scoring tool. You can use the ledge that's in your trimmer. And since every apple should have a little shine to it, I'm just squeezing some Glossy Accents directly onto the apple. Kind of running it around with the nozzle of the bottle, getting out any bubbles that may appear. This will give it a great shine when it dries. So here's the finished set. I hope this inspires you to try some personalized gift cards and to also add a little shine with Glossy Accents. Thanks for watching.